I'm Brett Cohen, and you're watching The Blue Collar Musician. In this episode of The Blue Collar Musician, I sit down with American Idol's Amanda Avila and talk about her exciting and inspiring musical journey. Hi, welcome to The Blue Collar Musician. My name is Brett Cohen. You can find me at brettcohenmusic.com and all the social medias at Brett Cohen Music. And make sure you hit subscribe on this page so you can get all the newest videos when they come out. Also, if you're looking to buy any musical gear, I have some links in the description of this video. Make sure you check those out. There's links to Guitar Center, Musician's Friend, Z-Sounds, and Woodwind and Brass. If you buy through those links, then I get a small commission. It helps keep this channel going. Anyhow, in today's episode, we're going to sit down with Amanda Avila. And it was a great interview. We talked about a lot of topics. What you're going to see here is a shortened version of it, but I will post a video of the entire interview, and also the podcast will feature the entire interview as well. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm joined today by a very good friend of mine, Amanda Avila.
Hello.
And you might recognize her from, I think it was season 4, right, of American Idol.
Yes, you have to be a really big American Idol fan, though.
But here we have the deep cut of American Idol contestants. Yeah. But now she's a Las Vegas-based performer, but traveled all over the world. In fact, just recently was overseas and travels with the Terry Bradshaw Show, which we heard some great things about in the interview with Sarah Jessica, who you obviously are a good friend with as well.
Very good friends.
Yeah, so welcome. It's great to have you here today.
Yeah, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Right on. So tell us the burning question. How did you get started as a professional? What was the process?
Well, I mean, I was always a big ham. There's tons of videos of me dancing on tables, which could have gone either way.
Right.
But I mean, my mom and my dad really realized that I was funny and pretty good at singing. So they put me in kids performing groups when I was younger. And I was in one called Karen's Kids. Shout out to Karen Blackburn in Rolling Heights, California.
Right.
From 6 until like my teenage years.
Okay.
And then we broke off and we kind of did an older teenage girl group. And then I went to the High School for Performing Arts in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
Some of the alumni there include Josh Groban, another good friend.
Yes.
Shout out to Josh. Hey, guys.
Josh Groban.
Why am I shout-outing? I
I don't know.
Do that.
I have like 7 viewers.
It's really weird.
But one of them might be Josh Groban.
Maybe.
I think he's on to the channel now.
He's on Broadway now, so he's probably bored.
Yeah.
Anyways, I went to the LA County High School for the Arts, and after that, I was going to go to college for musical theater.
Okay.
I wanted to be a big Broadway star, but my voice isn't really Broadway. It's much more pop. So Broadway wasn't really calling, but there was a audition to be the Selena Quintanilla character in Selena the Musical that was touring all through the States. And I booked it, not as Selena, but as one of the finalists for Selena. I was always doing contests. Like,
Sounds like
I'm the queen of vocal contests. Anyway, so I ended up booking that show, and that was my first professional gig. I did a tour with them for a couple months. The show ended up folding, and I think they reopened in LA, but I wasn't a part of that one. After that, I worked for Disney for a while, Disneyland. Fun fact, I started as a gingerbread cookie.
Wow.
In the Christmas parade. That was big big step up in the world from the national tour of Selena.
Right. Yeah.
But then what ended up happening was while I worked at Disney, California Adventure opened, and there was this show going into the Hyperion Theater there, and it was called Steps in Time. And every great dancer in LA was in that show, if anybody remembers. And I ended up booking that as one of the swing vocalists, and it was that was the big job because it was super professional, and it was Disney, and it was my first time in a massive recording studio. So that was really cool. Gosh, this is a long answer for how did you get started?
No, it's great because you're answering 3 questions all at once.
Because it's never one thing, right? You know, how did you get started? You just picked up a guitar and I'm going to be a guitar player. That's my Brett voice. I'm going to be a guitar player.
It's a good impersonation, actually. Here I go.
Anyways, so long story long, after Disney, I got booked randomly to be a backup singer for Smokey Robinson.
Wow.
I know, which is
a sweet gig.
It's funny because like gigs always fell into my lap in a really strange way. Yeah. Like I had met a bunch of dancers in Steps in Time, and one of the dancers knew a friend of mine that knew that I sang really well, and she was backup dancer for Smokey Robinson, and so they were like, "Do you want to come audition for Smokey?" And what's funny is, I was 20. I was 20. I wasn't even 21 yet.
Wow.
So when I heard you're going to audition for Smokey Robinson, I kind of knew who he was.
Right.
At 20 years old, though, I was like, "Is this the guy I'm thinking of?"
Yeah.
But sure enough, you go in there and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's Smokey Robinson." And
right.
I remember it's like it was yesterday because me being a big dork, I had like the worst song selection ever. I sang "I Will Survive."
Huh.
But Smokey's piano player was this guy, Sonny Burke, who actually wrote that lick, that. So he's like, "I got this." And like,
yeah.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
I ended up booking that show, and I toured with Smokey for about 3 years.
Wow.
But we didn't go on like long, like we would do weekends here, weekends there.
Right.
So that was the first time I actually got to experience, casino venues.
Right.
Like we did a lot of casinos.
Sure.
We did some tour bus, we did some flying. Like that was really cool. I mean, I had toured with Selena, but it was only in Texas, whereas Smokey was everywhere. And Smokey's Smokey.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's an icon. I mean, you can't get bigger than that.
Learned a lot about harmonies.
Sure.
And yeah, then there was a similar kind of audition competition for this show at Treasure Island called The Sirens of T.I.
Wow.
They were changing the theme of Treasure Island to be more adults because it was more of a like kid casino.
Right.
And yeah, they had this big, massive search for singers and dancers. Kenny Ortega, Travis Payne, Stacey Walker. They're all the people that choreographed like Michael Jackson shows. So it was like a big deal. And I booked that. And then I was in Vegas. And while in Vegas, catching up, I auditioned for American Idol.
Okay.
Now, I auditioned for American Idol 2 times before that. I auditioned 3 times altogether, and I didn't get past the first round until I auditioned in Vegas.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, I always tell people it's because it was like, oh, I was in Vegas, I was in a show, so I was like a Vegas showgirl. So
right, you had a little advantage.
Yeah.
There.
So anyway, I'll let you ask a question now that I've been talking for 30 minutes.
Well, that was a perfect segue, actually, because the most pressing question, and obviously I know you from all these different things you do, and I only met you post-American Idol. I didn't meet you until many years, actually, after American Idol. So I have a different perception. But so many people hear American Idol, so many people ask me, should I try out for American Idol? Should I try out for The Voice now? I guess American Idol's done, I guess, now, right? All these other shows, should I try out for it? What's the process? I'm going to let you answer that because I have a different answer as someone who's never been on American Idol.
You know what's funny is when I get asked the question, it's more of like, well, it depends on what you want. Like, if you want to be the kind of artist where you don't want any input from anybody else and you do your music and just yours and your songs and you don't want to sing anybody else's song and you don't want to do then no, those shows are not for you.
Right.
Because
that makes sense.
I meet so many people that are like, kind of insulting about the shows, oh, you're a sellout, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, and what are you doing? You're playing, 20 minutes at the hotel cafe. Like, give me a break. I think that in all aspects of show business, your choice of your career path is yours. And the way you choose to put your music out there or the way you choose to put your voice out there is completely up to you. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. American Idol, The Voice, all those shows are surprisingly difficult. You don't think how, for a performer, for instance, I thought my whole life that I wanted to be famous. Like, I really did. I thought, that's what my goal is to be a famous singer. And then I got a taste of fame for like 20 minutes, literally. 3 weeks in a row. Yeah. And I hated it.
That's interesting.
I hated that. Not the fun stuff, like people wanting to take your picture. Even that's fine. Yeah. It's amazing that you want a picture with me, and if I say no, I'm a jerk. So sure, I'll take your picture even though I don't have any makeup on.
Right.
what was hard was people critiquing you. And I think as an artist, you put yourself out there to get that in any aspect. Like, everybody's going to have an opinion. But Idol, you really are asking for it because you're on a show that, I mean, created a whole new verbiage to judge you. Like, pitchy was not a word before Randy Jackson came along. And that was difficult. And it was hard to find my way out of the headspace of, oh, they don't like me, they don't like me, they don't like me, instead of, can I do my best performance and see what happens?
Right.
So, to answer your question, do you want to... It's a huge choice to make, and it's a difficult process. It's really fun, and you learn a lot, but it's not for everybody.
Right. So it probably, while it can be a positive experience, maybe not necessarily the path for someone who wants to be a working pro.
Oh, you mean Idol or hosting?
Idol, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just you're gonna get a double-edged sword. You're gonna get people who like think it's really cool and respect you for it, or you're gonna get people that think that you're a sellout and don't respect you for it. But, everybody has an opinion. Yeah. So you just got to do what makes you happy, really. I would say know that it's a TV show. I think a lot of people go into it thinking, I'm the best singer in my town, or I'm the best singer at my school, and they audition thinking that that's what it's about. And it's like having a great voice is literally maybe 10% of what those shows are. It's all about your personality. It's all about your song choices. It's all about your story. A big part of it is your story. Yeah. Like you're gonna want to tell these people your deep, dark secrets in the first 5 minutes, because honestly, think about it. When you watch one of those shows, their little intro that they give them, what is it, a minute and a half? Yeah. And then they sing for 90 seconds?
Right, yeah.
But you can be a star in those 90 seconds. And
you can?
Your story has to be interesting enough to be edited into 90 seconds.
Yeah.
No, I did. So let's see. After Idol, like I said, I hosted for a while, and then I wanted to travel. And a lot of people, performers like myself, we do cruise ships. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to make money. It's a great way to see the world. It's a steady gig for a while. You can save money. Yeah. And I did that I did 4 contracts with Royal Caribbean.
That's more than most people I've talked to. Well, usually they can't take more than 2.
No, I really, really liked it. I loved meeting people from all over the world. I loved that and I made sure to do like really cool itineraries. Like I wasn't in Ensenada. No offense to Ensenada, but I mean, you can only do that so much.
Right, yeah.
I did all of South America twice, like around Cape Horn. Wow. I went over to Europe. I did Europe for a while, Israel, Turkey, where else? Well, all over. I just saw a lot of places that I never thought that I would see. And then once I was feeling a bit homesick, I came back to Vegas. And that's when you met me.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it all comes full circle.
Yeah, I mean, when I came back to Vegas, I did a stint waiting tables and bartending, which you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to pay the bills.
It's true.
Funny story, speaking of paying the bills. So right after Idol, I moved back to LA to try and make the minutes of my 20 minutes of fame. Right. And I worked at this restaurant. It was a new and up and coming restaurant, and actually it was fine. I made really good money. It was in not Beverly Hills, but it was in Hollywood, so it was fancy. Right. But I come to work one day, and my manager was kind of laughing, and he was like, "We have a special table for you. They requested you." And I'm like, "Okay." And sure enough, it's Paula Abdul's birthday party. I literally had been off Idol maybe 3 or 4 months. Wow. So I'm like, this is mortifying.
Sure.
Sure enough, she's like, "Amanda, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm your server." Happy birthday.
Probably should have kept me around a little longer.
I think it was uncomfortable for both of us. She felt horrible. Yeah. I was mortified. My manager thought it was hilarious.
Naturally.
It was like, hey, it's Hollywood. That's what happens. You got to pay the rent.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, don't ever be ashamed of being a server. And everybody who's not been a server, be good to your service industry people.
Yeah. So you just got back from Hong Kong. Yes. This is actually the first time we've had a chance to hang out.
I know.
Since you came
that's
back from
weird
Hong Kong.
because I talked to you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so how did you get that gig? What was the gig? Just give us the overview.
Well, a lot of show business is all word of mouth. all about who you know. When I was doing cruise ships, I met this other singer, and she did a lot of gigs in China and Japan.
Okay.
And she came to visit me in Vegas one day, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was one of my bartending at the piano bar.
Yeah. Okay.
stints.
Sure.
And she was like, "Why?" She's like, "Why don't you go to Asia? They're always looking for singers." So she sent my resume and my videos to this girl who actually ended up asking me for like 2 years to go out there. But I thought it was weird. I was like, it's really far away. I'm not going to know anybody. I'm not going to know the language. I don't know. I was kind of nervous about it. And then this past summer, they asked if I would fly out for an audition. They were going to fly me out. And I said, why not? I'll take a free trip to Hong Kong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I got there, I realized this is not scary at all. I think that's what people need to realize. Like, traveling isn't scary.
Right.
Well, I don't know about now.
So, well, sometimes.
Depends on where you're from, I
Right.
guess. But as a musician, for the most part, the gig that you get, as long as they give you an itinerary and they tell you where you're staying and they they usually give you a per diem. When you get there, it's just like any other city.
So, what is your favorite gig? You've talked about all these different gigs. What is your favorite gig that you've ever done? Is there one specific one?
It's the one I play with the Jupiter Year.
Well, naturally.
Duh.
That's everybody's favorite gig, frankly.
No, I mean, you know what's funny is I can think of different times when I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of those moments where, wow, this is really amazing. One time with Smokey, we were in Boston, and it was this big open-air concert, and there was like, I don't even know, like 500,000 people. That was really cool. But then I've also had, not even joking, like gigs with you guys just at the Sandollar where the band was really feeling it and was dancing, and we were really feeling it and jamming.
Right.
So I wouldn't say there's one specific. There's always just a moment when I go, wow, this is my life. Like I really like to play Fremont Street in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's like performing at a rock concert.
Yeah.
I like it. My favorite is when I'm able to perform as myself.
Yeah.
So not necessarily like in a production show or
Right.
singing for other people. I like to be able to just go up and do what I do naturally. Mm-hmm. And those are always my favorite gigs.
Sure. So in summation, what advice would you give someone who's just starting? They woke up today and they said, you know what? I'm going to be a singer for a living. What advice would you give them?
Well, find somebody to tell you if you can actually sing.
Good start.
Because a lot of people think that they're singers that maybe should necessarily be piano players.
Yeah.
But no, in any aspect of music, if you want to make a career out of it, I would say the most advice I can give is practice. Practice all the time. Learn as many songs as you can. Learn as many genres of music as you can. And just have passion. You can, this is going to sound like an after school special, but honestly, like anything you do in life, as long as you do it with conviction and you do it with passion, even if you fail, you at least did it. You tried.
Right.
And that's all you can do in this business because it's a gamble, you know? You just got to put yourself out there, throw yourself in, and practice. A lot of practice.
I agree. I couldn't agree more with all that. You hear so often about I shouldn't say the success rates. You hear so much about the failure rates of professional musicians. And so many parents are like, oh, you don't want to get in that. Only 1 in 100,000 people or 1 in a million people make a living at it. Well, the reason is because 999,000 of those people give up before they even start.
Exactly. And, you have to be able to face rejection, obviously. Yeah. But for every failed audition or every time they say no, someone's going to say yes. And you get to, create art with your body on stage for people. Right. That's really neat.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Avila, thank you so much once again for joining me. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, once again, this is the Blue Collar Musician. So make sure you hit subscribe on this page so you can see all the new videos when they come out. Again, you can find me at brettcohenmusic.com. All the social media is at Brett Cohen Music. And hey, if you want to buy some gear, there's some links below in the description of this video. Make sure you click on those links, and I will get a small commission and keep this channel going. So we'll see you all again real soon. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
I'm Brett Cohen.